In this episode of the IT Experts podcast, I'm going to help you retain your people. Welcome to the IT Experts podcast, the only podcast to help MSPs scale to 1 million, and if already there, get to 5 and go faster. At the end of the day, isn't it all about building a business that works for you rather than you for it? I hope you enjoy the show. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the IT Experts podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to retain and keep hold of your employees, whether they're remote or whether they're in the office. We have a lot of conversations with the clients at the Growth Hub all about recruitment. It's really difficult to recruit people. Well, if you think it's difficult, you think it's easy, you're probably right, because it depends on the effort and the methodology and the process that you're going through. Generally, people we talk to go into a bit of waves of, I need to recruit some people, then you'll find the right people, and then you'll need some more people as you scale and grow, and then you won't be able to find them, then you will. And there's a lot of people out there at the moment, a lot of big organisations throwing bucket loads of cash at the tech industry because there's so many of them around and there's so many big projects that's been won right now. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is the greedy ones amongst us, or not us, but the greedy employees amongst us will go and take a job, earn a bucket load of money for a year, and then they're just going to get thrown back into the pond again because people will just buy people to be on projects. Now, I guess that's always happened, really, and it's probably not really going to do a great deal. Not really much you can do about it, but there are some certain deliberate steps that we can do to help us retain our teams. Now, if you think for a minute just about how long, how much time, effort, cost, and everything else that goes with it, the recruitment cost, it's not just about the recruitment fee. You've probably got to go through hundreds of CVs of people who don't even know how to turn on a ZX81, let alone run a support desk or have had some experience. And there's lots of different things, we can do in the recruitment space to find to get the right people and to recruit them. But this message is all around how do we retain them? How do we stop people leaving? I had the same conversation yesterday when we were onboarding a new client. If you give someone a pay rise, the excitement of it and the newness of it will generally last for about 3 months. Month 1, yay, I've got some more money. Brilliant. I can go and treat my girlfriend, my partner, whoever it is, buy some Christmas presents, whatever you might want to do. Month 2, oh yeah, brilliant. I forgot I got that nice bit, a little bit extra in my bonus. Month 3, it's now normal because my spending has gone up to that certain level. So if you think you can reward people by just giving them money and it lasts all year, forget it. It doesn't work like that. It's a real short-term thing. And as your spending gets in around it, people wake up in the morning to win, all right? And they want to win and they want to do a good job. And for us, building the team, building a successful MSP is about having a team of people who are connected, they're engaged, and they want to all work together, for a common goal. So let's jump into it. The first step on how to retain, your teams, even though that some of them might be remote, is about actually recruiting the right people. And this might be a bit of a really, Ian, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? But recruitment is a marketing exercise. Why do people want to come and work with you? Why do people want to come and work for your organization? Where's your organization going? What's in it for me? What's the USP? And all these great things. If you think about any time you make a buying decision, you are in a place of, what do I want it? Why do I need it? What problems is it going to solve? What's it going to help me do? And all of those kind of great things. And when people are looking to join a company and when you are looking to sell the company effectively through a recruitment process, you need to think about how you're marketing, and I seem to be talking about this an awful lot lately, but, the vision, where's the business going? The mission, how is it going to achieve the vision? What values, what types of people are we looking for? What types of culture? And how do we want people to behave when they come into the organization? So many times we hear people talk about that we've hired the right person. Do you know what? They didn't quite have the technical skill set, but their attitude and their behaviors were so on point. And then guess what happens? Because you aligned on the personal side and building relationships, trust and rapport, what ends up happening is then you start teaching each other the skills, or teaching the skills that they need, because anybody can really pretty much be taught to do anything. but it's how you behave, and your personality and your values are more important for job satisfaction to some people than salary. And this is why we always recommend, whenever you're recruiting the person, whenever you're recruiting, is to use something like a DISC profile or a psychometric test to find out who these people really are, what makes them tick, what values do they have, what behaviours are underlying. And once you've got that DISC profile report, and before the interview, you can then prepare to ask yourselves or ask them some questions around the different values, around the different key points that's come up in the DISC report. And we use quite an intensive one for our clients when they're doing the recruitment process. So we can actually create a sales questionnaire or a leadership questionnaire if they're coming in on a senior position. But the first step is just about recruiting the right people. Obvious as it may sound, so many different things that we need to make sure that we've got covered off. Second one is around streamlining the onboarding process. As soon as you make an offer to someone to come and join your company, the onboarding process starts. It doesn't matter if they're on a day, a week, a month, or 3 months' notice. The perception of what you've sold them, remember in the last step through the recruitment, and the perception of what the organisation's like starts now. Am I having a good employee experience, whether I be remote or whether I be in the office? And there was a report done by HR Data that said nearly a third of new hires leave within the first 6 months of a role. And that's because people are not onboarding properly. They're not living up to the dream. They may have just sold them a role. And an onboarding process needs to be explaining to them about what's going to happen next. What is the length of time between the conversation of offer and when they start? What team they're going to be working in? What department they're going to be working in? Where are they going to be working? Are they going to be online? Are they going to be a bit of hybrid? Are they going to be in the office? How are we going to communicate with you? Have you got yourself, do you feel loved, and have you sent them a welcome pack with some merchandise in it so that they feel, if they are remote, they feel like they're connected to the business because they've got to have a mouse mat, or they might have a coaster or some pens or whatever it might be. Silly little things, I know, but really important to help build a connected culture when people are remote as well as when they're in the office. Invite them into the office. Have a coffee before they start. Make sure that they, meet their other team members, and make sure that they, understand who's the hierarchy and how that works and who you need to go to for escalations. All of this is all about creating day one to be not a surprise, not a shock, and a really nice, I feel comfortable, I feel at home, I can hit the ground running. I haven't really got too many silly questions because I've had them answered. You could send them over a little welcome pack. This is all about the business. This is what we do. Could be an abridged version of your website, in fairness. You could send them over, obviously, links to the website and a little bit more detail, whether you've got a portal that you might have, an employee portal or anything like that. But it's all about making sure you've got a great onboarding experience, making sure that they feel cared for, making sure they feel loved, making sure that you're living up to the expectations when you sold them the role earlier on. So streamline your onboarding process is critical, number 2. Number 3 is around getting really, really great connections between the co-workers. So you've got your managers in there, done the onboarding, and now we're in a position where we are, now involved in the team. You started the working, and it's how do we build those great connections between the workers? Now, if you're remote, some of this can be really, really tricky. And having a positive start to every meeting. Hey guys, what's great that's happened this week? Whether in your personal life or in your home life, what good things are going on in the work right now? It's really important to help boost and avoid loneliness, because it can be really difficult working remotely. You might think it's really easy if you're sitting there with teams, and you might think that it'd be pretty straightforward over the pandemic. I'm working in the office here at the Growth Hub pretty much on my own most of the time. Stuart pops in, a couple of times a week, which is great. But I don't feel like I'm working on my own because I'm always connected to the clients and I'm always busy and I'm always doing things. Could I do this at home? Not a chance, because it's around changing that environment and changing that step change of getting out of the house and going to the office. and connecting with other people. So you could be doing online social events, once a week. You might have a little quiz or something silly and, something just to help you learn and to get to know the other people in your organization. Another thing that I was given when I was in corporate, which was really cool, was a buddy. So I had somebody from another department who was there just to answer stupid questions. How do we do this? How do I put my expenses in? Oh, I didn't want to ask him about this. How does that work? And it was really good because it was particularly important now, I suppose, for remote working, that you've got someone there that you can lean on, that you're not going to interrupt, because, you're interrupting someone's day online. It's quite important if you're going to be pulling somebody for a meeting. Whereas if you're in an office, you might be able to have a chat while you're making a cup of tea or having your lunch or anything like that. So making sure that you're connecting your co-workers either within the teams, within the departments, making sure they're having great conversations around how they're feeling, what's going on, their mental health, all of those great things is super, super important. And that's when your teams and your colleagues and your behaviours and the culture will start to connect at a lot deeper level. Right, number 4 is around having a great and amazing employee-manager relation. Now, the previous podcast we did was all around what to do if you feel disconnected from your team because other people have got involved and you've got a senior leadership team now. So whether you're in the workplace or whether you are online and you're working remotely, having a quality conversation with your manager and a relationship with your manager is really, really important. Remember, whenever you leave an organization, it's very rare that you will leave the organization because of the organization. You will leave the organization because of the manager that you're working with. Think about a time in a job when you quit. And making sure that everything is all in place in your relationship. But also, how did you get on at the weekend? What's going on? How's the kids' football teams? You might have more in common than you think. Don't just think of it as a transactional relationship with your manager and with your teams, and just making sure that you really go deep. Don't be intrusive, but, at least understand what's going on. Workload is really key one to manage as well. I've been in many jobs where, the workload is just so high. And I can't even begin to imagine what it's been like over the last couple of years, because it's just, meeting. There's no such thing as travel time anymore if you're remote. If you're in the office, there obviously is. But, all of a sudden you used to, spend an hour traveling somewhere, maybe having a 2-hour meeting, travel back. You get time to decompress afterwards. You get time to prepare before and all of these great things. But now it's just back to back Zoom, back to back all the time. You don't even get a chance to go to the toilet sometimes. And making sure that your workload is manageable and you're having good quality conversations with your manager about, or your teams about their workload, your workload, is really important, because otherwise, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get burnt out and go off sick. And no one wants anyone to be burnt out and go off sick, because it doesn't line up with their values, does it? It doesn't become this wonderful culture that we've organised. So regular check-ins, regular quality check-ins that are documented so that you can remember if there's something that someone mentioned a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, or how are you getting on with that? I understand you're getting some headaches because of the lighting or whatever it might be. Making sure that people are getting good amount of exercise and fresh air throughout the day, and they're not just sitting in front of their screens all day is really important as well, because we've got to keep engagement high all the way through this, and this is built through relationships. So really great relationships with your managers and on a one-to-one basis as well. Finally, step 5, it's all about development. Where am I going? What's the job all about? Where's the business going? How are you progressing? What do you need to do? What do we need to do to help the business grow? How can I grow in the business? How can I earn more money? How can I get more responsibility? This is critical, that people have a vision, like the business vision, have a vision on where they're going. And working from home is a real problem, or working remotely can be a real challenge, because there's a real, resilience and a sense of efficacy, and really making sure that we need to retain those relationships, retain those career paths, retain training. So sharing wins, understanding, having proper one-to-ones, and talking personally to each other is really, really key. So do all of your team, whether they're in the office or remotely, have a personal development plan. Where are they going in their role? How are they going to grow? And this is what stops people leaving. Because if they feel that they're loved and they feel that they've got a career plan, they feel that they're going to grow with a business that's growing, then they're going to stay rather than take a risk. No one likes to fail, and not many people really like to take many risks, to be honest. So make sure there's a high level of responsibility, accountability, and also at all levels, making sure that you've got that real career plan. You've got a training plan on how they're going to achieve their career objectives, and make sure that you're realistic with the objectives goals as well. And this is why it's important too, just bit of a golden nugget here, to make sure as a business owner you've got a 3-year organisation chart. So you've got your organisation chart from today. Yep, that's great. But what does it look like in 3 years' time? How is it going to grow? Where are people going to move into it? And then that's going to help you retain the staff because they're going to see where they're going. People will leave if they feel unloved, they feel uncommunicated, they feel unconnected, and it wasn't the job that they sold. And then you're going to be wasting your time and going back to basics and back to square one all over again. So look, I hope you enjoyed this short little blast of a podcast all about how to retain your teams, how to retain your staff, how to build that engagement culture and connect it again with the vision and the values. Just listen to this again, take some of these steps, take them back to your leadership team, take them back to your team, and please implement even 1, 2, 3, even 4, or maybe 5 of these tips with your team. And it will boost employee engagement. It will help you to keep more people so you have a more scalable, sustainable and profitable MSP. So that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this show and I look forward to catching up with you on the next one. Have a great day. So I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, I'd love it if you could leave a rating and review on your favourite podcast platform. If you want to learn more about how to take your MSP to $1 million, or if you're already there, go faster, then come and join Stuart Warwick and myself in the Scale with Confidence Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. You go and enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.